The person who rented it was wanted for other robberies, at least suspected of other robberies. They ran him down in real time, caught him. He turned over the statue, confessed, and we made 2 arrests. This is the Detroit Police Department that we have today. And I got to reflect, I see Reverend Anthony here and a number of other community activists. I just think about 25 years ago, the Detroit Police Department had the highest rate of officer shootings of civilians of any department in America. There was huge distrust between the community and the department. When I got elected prosecutor in 2000, the very first thing I did was establish an independent prosecutor's review of every police shooting and sent prosecutors to the scene that night. We needed some strong personalities. It was headed up by a fella by the name of Warren Evans. And he got his pick of the most independent, strong-minded prosecutors in the area and picked Dana Nessel and Portia Roberson to be a part of that team. And the DPD was furious with me that I would dare have independent investigations of officer-involved shootings. Mayor Archer brought in the Justice Department. We had a consent agreement. And a generation later, it's a dramatically different department. You had a young lieutenant by the name of James White who was in charge of compliance with the consent agreement. You had a new generation of officers who saw the city differently. And one of those officers was young Todd Bettison, who was part of a generation in his 27 years that changed this department to one that's highly trusted. And throughout his time there, Deputy Chief, Assistant Chief, it kept going up. I think he got promoted 4 times since I was here. But when things went bad, it was Todd Bettison went to the community and said, we messed up. Here's what's happening. When things were going well, he was the one that explained what was going on. And in partnership with the unions, who actually pioneered the use of body cams and dash cams in this country when other departments were resisting, we have transformed this department. And there were people who thought that if you are close to the community and work with community advocates, the crime rate's going to go down because you're soft on crime. What the Detroit Police Department, this city, has proven is exactly the opposite, that this trust has resulted in a lot more cooperation. And of course, last year, we had the fewest homicides in this city since 1966. Right? And so after 6 months as James White's first assistant chief, I picked Todd Bettison to be deputy mayor. We had major departments that needed to be watched, and I believed it was possible to do a community violence initiative, to partner with people in the community who would intervene every day before violence occurred. And Todd Bettison says, I want to lead that. I'm going to lead this CVI program. And the results are now attracting national attention. A number of the groups are here, but when you see the results from this next quarter, it will be the best of all. But the shootings and the violence have dropped dramatically faster in our CVI zones. Now, if you're in these meetings aren't all roses. There's some tense conversations. Some by the CVI teams demanding more from the city administration and supporting them, and demands from our side saying, you have a defined boundary, you have to produce. And I'm really proud of the way that we have been able to unify a really strong law enforcement presence from DPD with a really strong prevention presence. We've done it with great independent oversight from the Board of Police Commissioners and active participation from Detroit City Council. And I want to acknowledge the council members who are here. Council President Mary Sheffield is here. Council Member Fred Durhall, Council Member Angela Callaway. Did I see Scott Benson come in? Scott, I could hear Scott Benson. Council Member Scott Benson. But what you have is active oversight from both the Board of Police Commissioners and the City Council in everything we're doing. And so we have a process that we now know very well. And that is that when there's a vacancy, I appoint an interim chief. That's my responsibility. The Board of Police Commissioners is charged by charter to do a search and send me names, which I asked for 3 names to choose from. I select one of those names, and that individual then is reviewed by City Council. Now, I got to say, the Board of Police Commissioners the last time gave me 3 finalists that were outstanding. Of course, I knew Chief White very well. They sent a fellow by the name of Mike Cox, who was the police chief at Ann Arbor. I was so impressed with him, I tried to convince him to come here as the number 2. I wanted both White and Chief Cox. Chief Cox went to Boston, where he's the police chief, where they have dropped homicides there. This process produced the 2 people who for the last couple of years have been the 2 finest police chiefs in America, both sat in my office doing interviews. That's the way the Board of Police Commissioners operated the last time. I expect Interim Chief Bettison to compete in a process against the best in the country, and we will see what comes out of that process. Each one of us has our roles to play, but I think right now what we're going to see is a seamless transition to one of the great sons of the city of Detroit. And I hate to lose him as deputy mayor, but this job is so critical that I'm just so pleased we had somebody ready to step in. And with that, I'm going to introduce my partner in this process, the one who is going to take it from here, the chair of the Board of Police Commissioners, Darrell Woods.
Certainly, we thank the mayor for such a powerful choice in selecting such a capable and experienced leader to stand in the gap until we do our due diligence to make a selection process. It will go through our selection process. I want to acknowledge my vice chairwoman, Tamara Liberty Smith. She's here. Give her a hand. Doing a lot to sacrifice her time and her resources. For people who don't understand that we don't get paid a dime. We get a little stipend. I probably can pay a little gas money for a couple of days, you know. But we're here faithfully, and we have dedicated our time and our resources to serve the citizens of the city of Detroit. And my other partner that is here is Commissioner Linda Bernard, who is over our policy committee. And, you know, but, you know, this is the interim chief, Bettison. We could say congratulations and welcome back. Welcome back, my friend. And definitely, I'd known him for a number of years. In fact, a lot of people know that I was condemned to life without the possibility of parole. I don't run from that. I was incarcerated. And when I was incarcerated, I met then Commander Todd Bettison. He came into prison, worked with us on a program to be able to help youth that were being sentenced to our NAACP prison program committee under Reverend Wendell Anthony. And we work together to help save the lives of so many young people who were going down the wrong path. And so I say that this selection, Mayor, is a powerful selection as we figure this thing out. We'll see if it's anybody better, you know, you know, we're going to see. You know. You know, but most importantly, I want to talk about this period of transition that allows the board to perform our charter mandated duties. This is a sacred duty. This is a duty that the charter says that we have to have a national search. We have already got the ball rolling in that regard. Our chair of the Personnel and Training Committee, we have organized a special committee to be able to identify a search firm. And once we identify the search firm, we would do our due diligence in interviewing some of the best candidates from around the country. It will indeed be a national search. And it's going to be a fair, open, and transparent process where the citizens of the city of Detroit will be able to see everything that we do, because we'll do it in a public forum and we'll do it in a righteous form. And so we are very, very appreciative of our duty and our tasks ahead. The Board of Police Commission has done some amazing things thus far to be able to bring more transparency, and watch in a couple of weeks you'll hear some more amazing things as we even go through this process. So again, I want to thank the mayor for considering such a powerful leader, and this room is a reflection of Todd Bettison and his great work, but it's also a reflection of Chief James White. Chief James White has sacrificed his time, his resources. He has stayed up tirelessly to be able to respond to the ills of the city of Detroit. And he has done his job faithfully. He has brought violent crime down with his team, with the Detroit Police Department, and the support of the Board of Police Commission, as well as the support of our council under the leadership of Council President Mary Sheffield. And so we definitely appreciate what Chief White has done. And he have a partner even in Sheriff Raphael Washington in terms of being able to minister to the needs of our community. So Chief White, I want to personally thank you openly. I know Teferi have given you a hard. He has kept you on your toes, and we have kept you on your toes. This ain't a rubber stamp commission. And you need to understand that this ain't a rubber stamp commission, because we will challenge the chief, we challenge this chief, and we will challenge this interim chief and any other chief on any issue that we disagree with. And we have come to the table to be able to shape policy and to make a better Detroit. And so again, standing in the presence of my great leader and mentor, Reverend Wendell Anthony, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna pitch it to the chief. God bless you, and we're praying for you and your family as you continue to bring healing to the city of Detroit and Wayne County.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
How do you follow that? Very, very honored to have this moment in time. And I just want to take a moment before I give you my brief remarks and thank the Board of Police Commissioners, thank our activist community, Teferi Brennan and others. And he's absolutely right. It is not a rubber stamp. It is work. And to keep this community believing in this police department. We're not always in agreement, but the work that they do is very important. Reverend Wendell Anthony, again, conversations, difficult conversations about police actions and activities, things that you all don't know. If it happens on Saturday night, I'm on the phone on Saturday night. If it happens Sunday morning, he must take a break out of that pulpit because he's on the phone with me. And he's not looking for nonsense. He's looking for accountability and actions, and with tremendous respect, but very, very serious and courageous conversations. I want to thank the mayor. The mayor has given me literally every single thing I need to run this police department. 3.5 years ago, when he graciously selected me as the interim chief, and the board unanimously selected me, both council and Board of Police Commissioners, that was a time I knew what I wanted to do. We had a plan and a strategy to attack this crime issue with respect and constitutional policing. But in addition to that, it was Todd Bettison who talked about, let's also make sure that we have a strong relationship with our activist community, and let's make sure that we are boots on the ground. And together we created Walk on My Wednesday. And I know I get a lot of credit for it because I kept it going. But we got out in the community and we talked to people. That very popular walking meeting took off, as you all know. And we started that because we wanted to make sure that the community need me. And that was Todd. That was Todd saying, these are the people that we've got to talk to and explain what the 12-point plan is. It started with a 5-point plan. Then we came back with the 12-point plan and addressed a number of issues. Todd is a partner. Todd has been a partner to me from the day I joined this police department. Not just when I made chief or had the name chief in my title. When I was a police officer, when I was a sergeant, a lieutenant, and we jokingly talk about how our careers were very similar, right? Because we were people who the department tagged to do things. We're just regular cops. We jumped over the wall. We did the push-ups. We wanted to write tickets, make arrests, and be a cop. But the department had bigger plans for us. And the department said, hey, we want you to attack this problem. Todd worked on the Super Bowl. I was in the chief's office at the time as the chief of staff, and we would pass each other. I'm like, what does this guy do? He's like, what does this guy do, right? And we would be in meetings and strategizing together on everything. Consent judgment came up, and then I got that whopper of a task. Todd was doing all these other projects in the city, and then we would be in the same meetings and having conversations. And then when I became chief, again, humble to even serve as your chief. Never thought this young kid from Detroit, growing up poor in the city, single parent mom who I'm so proud of, who is no longer with us, knowing that she's proud of me looking down, that this mayor would select me, of all people, this guy from Detroit, and then you sitting there in a room with this really dynamic Ann Arbor police chief, although I did turn Ann Arbor down to stay with you, sir. And then selecting me to lead this amazing organization. And then after I do that, he gives us, with approval from this amazing council and the board, the biggest raises we've ever seen in the history of the Detroit Police Department. Oh, yeah. Which enabled us to recruit. And it enabled us to bring our officers back home from these suburbs. And I was looking at the numbers this morning in preparation for this. We've hired over 800 police officers since I've been chief. 800 police officers. So I am so proud to turn over an agency that I'm really not turning over because Todd's been here, as all my support staff will say, as my ACs and DCs, Todd's on the phone, Todd's on the phone. Todd wants, Todd needs. So he ain't been nowhere. Let's not fool anybody. But now he's officially home. I am so proud. You're going to build on these historic crime numbers since 1966. You've been a dynamic partner, and I want to be the partner to you as you take this role as you've been to me. So if you need me, I'm a phone call away.
Yes, we do.
Congratulations.
Yes, we do.
And I'm going to do everything I can to bring you the services that you need so that we can stop encountering these folks who are in mental health crisis on police runs. That is not the place that they need to be encountered. They need to be encountered in hospitals. So with that, it is my honor at this point to say congratulations to you, and I'm going to turn this over now. I want to thank the unions as Lieutenant Mark Young comes forward. Very passionate, where's Mark Young? Very passionate leader of the Lieutenants and Sergeants Association. Let's give him a big hand. And I want to thank the DPOA as well. I don't know if they're here, but with the same level of thank you. We've had to roll up our sleeves and get a lot of work done. Mark, come on out.
Good afternoon. I'm not surprised we're here today. I didn't anticipate it, but I'm not surprised. I would never refer to you as interim chief because the decisions that need to be made are not on an interim basis. This city matters, these members matter, this community matters. I want to thank you. You were my commanding officer, and you were a great example to me as a young sergeant. Command presence. You took the time to invest in me and listen. That was the most powerful thing as a young sergeant that I appreciated from you, Chief Bettison. You listened. You're going to do extremely well. I'm not surprised. You taught me a lot about relationships. It is not contracts. It is relationships that make things happen. You taught me that. Your intelligence, your wisdom, your experience, and again, those relationships, compassion, empathy, love for this community, endurance, and dedication for this department and the city is powerful. I thank you. You're going to do outstanding. Chief White, thank you. You showed leadership, dedication, sacrifice, progress, crime reduction's historic. The contract was historic. Thank you. I appreciate you. The men and women of the department and the city, you stabilized this department at a time that we were hemorrhaging. The education piece, that cannot go unnoticed. We changed the trajectory of people's lives and their families' lives, and it's still going. I thank you for that. When you talk about indemnification, when you talk about discipline, all those things were affected by that initiative. So forever, I will be grateful for you for that. You're going to do an amazing job with DWIM. I'm happy in one aspect because you know what? For so long, mental health has been words that we did not talk about in this city since Governor Engler. It is going to make not only this community safe, but it's also going to make the men and women that I represent and law enforcement safe, because I know the outstanding job you did on the Detroit Police Department is going to translate there, and that partnership, you're going to always wear this badge, and you're going to always in some ways be chief to many of us. But the job that you're doing, the job that you're going to, is going to take that assignment and mental health, long overdue, to another level. And for that, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I have the great pleasure of introducing Pastor Mo. He's the next speaker.
Thank you, Mark.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
To our mayor, our city council, our president, Sheffield, great brothers like Fred Duhall, to great ministers, pastors here, clergy, and to all my activist brothers, to our sheriff, hope I ain't missing nobody, our police commission, commissioner, Jesus, to his Todd's partner, his beautiful wife is a friend of, I call her a friend of mine, to her. And I'm not gonna say her name, it's not none of my business, but she knows she's here. I want to talk about a chief that I call my friend and my brother. I'm gonna give you just two incidents and it'll explain, I'm sorry, Chief White, to our next leader to help our city get healthy, mentally healthy. And I always said he's just too smart for certain jobs. We need Chief White and some of that high thinking stuff, you know. And I honor you in your service, and I look forward to working with you in your next job. But to my brother, the next interim chief, Todd Bettison, we call him DM, AC, BC. He's gonna have the whole alphabet in a minute. I'm just call him ABC, Mayor. I'm gonna call him ABC. And we just ended at that. But I'm gonna give you two instances about the relation, about who y'all finna get as y'all new chief in this city. I want Detroit to listen to this. This is the man y'all finna have in y'all city. I had a phone call one day at 4 in the morning, and the man called my phone. He said, "I'm about to blow up the police department, the churches, and the schools." And I say, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm gonna blow it up, and because they won't let me talk to Pastor Mo. Everybody won't let me talk to Pastor Mo." I said, "Sir, you're talking to Pastor Mo." "No, it ain't." I said, This is Pastor Mo." "Really?" We had a conversation for about an hour. This man was kind of crazy, but he wasn't that crazy. And he wanted some help with some things, and one of the things he had was his sister was displaced and didn't have nowhere to go. They were hungry. I called Todd Bettison, and we got about his bed. We went over and seen that man and put his sister in a hotel and fed them out of our pocket. This is the type of chief we're gonna have. This man could have killed us. But we was caring about him and that mental wellness and that help and that sister. It was greater than us. And another time, you remember the story over in the Ruins Park, and Vu knows about this, my brother Vu. There was a young lady was shot over a basketball game, and she had, seven kids, Daryl? Yep. 7 kids. Yeah, 7 to 9 kids. And people had been promising her a house, and the kids were sleeping on the kitchen and the grandmother's house and the pantry on an air mattress and being told to go to school with hardly no food on the floor, and they watched their mother get killed in cold blood and got to deal with algebra. And I said blasphemy in this city. And I got up on the phone and I called my brother Todd Bettison. He met me that day, and he wasn't the police chief. He couldn't tell Craig what to do. You know, but he went in his pocket and gave me $500. And we got them people a house in 3 days. We raised their money. This is the chief you're gonna have in this city. And I remember one time, the last one, the city was in a big issue about a shooting with the ICE cop. It wasn't Detroit, it was the ICE cop. And over in Tanscale situation, and it was about to be a big, remember Tafari, a big situation over there. It was me, Todd Bettison, and Stephen Grady. In the alley, I said, Todd, let me talk to you for a minute. I said, this finna go crazy. They was lined up, it was just bad. It got real bad. I said, Todd, do you trust me? He said, yeah, because this CBI stuff been started. We didn't know what to call it. We've been doing CBI. And so we ain't ever missed. And so I said, Todd, you trust me, man? I said, these people got to go home and get their kids up for school at 3 o'clock. Don't turn this into nothing bigger than what it is. Tell these guys just to back off and let them have their minute. They got to go get their kids in a little while. Just trust me. He's like, tell the AT guys to back off. I said, just tell them to trust me. Tell them to back off. And the heart he had in that alley, nobody was there but us, me and him. And the helicopters was all over. They lined up with the shields and they ready to go. They fighting with, telling the family, don't interrupt us. Family said, no, stop. He said, we don't want to hear from y'all. We ready to tear this city up. And this city don't throw rocks. This city don't throw rocks. It was going to be worse than George Floyd. And Todd listened to the compassionate heart of a pastor, from people like Wendell Anthony, who's I watched and I mentor myself behind people like him, and he listened, and he made a call that I don't think nobody else would have made. That was CBI right there. And we stopped one of the biggest riots in this city. So when George Floyd came, we was ready for it. We was ready for it. Ain't a window in this city got busted. That's right. Because of the great tactical work. Now I'm gonna tell you, Chief Craig was very tactical, police chief. Chief White, in my opinion, he's intellectual, smart policing. Todd is a hybrid.
Right.
He's a hybrid. Thank you for our next chief. God bless you, brother. We love you. Oh, I want to introduce one of my great brothers who's coming up strong. Me and him had a talk. We had a certain talk. One of the realest guys in the city, leader of CBI, my brother Zoe, coming up next. Yeah.
How y'all doing? Peace. I want to start off by honoring a lot of the community leaders and the activists. I spent 15 years of my life in prison. Since I was 11, I've been selling drugs, trying to avoid law enforcement. While I was in prison, I started understanding, like, through guards, through COs, like they just doing their job. Men in prison, I had mentors in prison. One of my mentors, my cellie, beautiful man, Carlos Powell, he educated me, taught me about my history, psychology, economics, therapy, and I came home. And when I came home, my brother, a poet, Amari Barksdale, brought me to a gun violence prevention conference on, I believe, Van Dyke and Mack, to meet Alea Harvey Quinn, founder of Force Detroit and executive director. There I met Negus Vu, Pastor Mo, Jackie. Can't remember everybody was there, but they broke in my car, tore my car up. I only been out 3 weeks. Yeah, right. I was upset. Like, dang, it's my car. So I'll get back and forth to work. And when I left out, like, all of them came around me and they dug in their pocket and they gave me money and said, get your car fixed. The very next day, Negus Vu came and got me, like, what you doing? About to go do a cleanup. The community leaders and the activists gave me something to do, gave me purpose. But they didn't get there, or we didn't get there, moving divided. Once I started studying the history of Detroit on how community leaders and leaders in the police department supported the community leaders, and a trust started to develop between community, law enforcement, and government. There's no way a man with a life sentence comes out and becomes police commissioner in other cities. There's no way a man that committed a homicide, was part of a drug conspiracy, even though it wasn't intentional, becomes a director or becomes what I am, without having an ecosystem of people who are willing to invest in people. This has been going on, like it's CVI, they call it that, but it's really legacy. Legacy of a people trying to heal people. And when you support community, and that's what the mayor's office has done, that's what the police department has done, and that's what community has done, activists. My story with Bettison is I did not trust him when I didn't. No, it's not that they was police. I didn't trust them because I didn't know them. In our community, it's hard to trust because everybody's failed us. Everybody has abused. I've been a young black man abused by systems, by institutions. So I didn't trust. But as I seen community leaders, I trusted my community leaders. And I seen that they trusted them. And I built a relationship with them. And every time it was a disagreement, it was a conversation. It was an open door. Chief White, my community, everybody know it, they love him. They love him. I was in a, we had something at the barbershop. And there was like 20 police cars up there for everybody calling like, barbershop getting raided. But I waited. The next day I said, I want to see if they're going to try and tarnish our name, tarnish what we do. Because you ain't going to tarnish what we do, because we some of the most solid individuals in community.
That's right.
You ain't going to tarnish this where trust is, community trusting individuals like myself and other community leaders to be able to stand amongst law enforcement, to stand amongst our local government. And everybody is moving as one. Everybody moving as one. And anybody that's not moving with that one, they not with it. He was open. I remember when we first came out, when I first got out of prison, and all that stuff was going on. And I remember them saying, man, the police, the Bettison, all of they telling us to come down here and stop the protesters from tearing the city up. My rebellious mind was, what? It's revolution. Because what I was like, what? Why are we trying to stop it? And the community leaders, because of the conversation they was having, like, no, they educated me as well when I came out here. But it was relationships built with trust. That's the key thing, trust. Mistrust is what's causing harm in our community and stopping us from healing. Trust. And I can say today, unapologetically, in front of all my peers and in front of those who are not my peers, with my background, that I trust you to do what you're supposed to do. And I don't say that in a condescending way. And I thank you too, Mayor, for allowing us to have the opportunity to implement our own strategies and not to be exploited. Because work that's been being done gets exploited in this field because someone could pay for an evaluation. That's right. Right? I know the game. You watch us, you pay for your evaluation, and now you own our legacy, our work, our healing. But I trust you. And it was not easily given. You earned it. You're an honorable man in my eyes. I'm supportive of you. I'm supportive of this city, and I appreciate and I'm honored to be able to stand here and introduce you into this new role.
All I can say is wow. I'm going to start out with some thank yous. So, first of all, thank God. I want to thank my wife who stood beside me. Tracy, stand up. I want to thank Mayor Duggan, for your faith in me, making me your deputy mayor over the past 2 years. And so as I would travel around the city of Detroit being deputy mayor, folks would ask me after leaving the police department, do you really like being deputy mayor? I said, yeah, I do. I mean, it was wonderful, man. I was at so many ribbon cuttings across the city of Detroit. I was with Motor City Match. I was the candy man giving out grants and stuff. And so, as happy as some folks are that I'm about to become the interim police chief, there's a lot of folks out there saying, Deputy Mayor, what about us? Like, well, wait a minute, who's gonna do that? But what I can tell you is Mayor Duggan is brilliant when it comes to picking talent, and so you can rest assured that you're in good hands with, whom he's going to select for that. So I just wanted to calm folks down with me not being deputy mayor, because the other question was, well, can you do both? Are you gonna be the deputy mayor and the chief? And so I actually asked the mayor, y'all. I said, I like being deputy mayor. Mr. Mayor, can I be chief also and deputy mayor? And he said, well, Todd, that's just, he say, nah. I need a full-time chief and I need a full-time deputy mayor, because the citizens of Detroit deserve full-time chief and full-time deputy mayor. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that. Chief White of the Detroit Police Department, man, the chief, hit it like on the head. He selected me as his first assistant chief. We came up through the ranks together. We used to compete with each other, and we studied taking tests together, and so it was always going up. And I can tell you, he selected me as his first assistant chief, and it was my pleasure to work for you. When I became deputy mayor, folks was like, are you his boss now? I said, nope. I work for him as first assistant chief, and I still work for James White, because he called me all the time. Todd, need your help with this. Hey, we're trying to get these police officer raises and with getting technology and working through. And so the mayor and I got to give it up to Detroit City Council as well, because Council President Sheffield and all the council members that I have to talk to. If you go back and pull the records at every press conference I've ever did, I've always thanked City Council. Yes, because we can have ideas all day, but they appropriate money. And so without the finance, there ain't too much happening. So let's give it up to City Council again one more time. The Board of Police Commissioners, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Bernard. Thank you, Tamara Liberty Smith, Commissioner, and to all of them. They have a tough job, and a lot of folks think they get paid. They're the only board I know that meet every week. And not 1 hour, 2 hours. I mean, they really work. So, just for them and what they're doing with oversight, and the late, great Coleman Young actually set that police accountability mechanism up, and that doesn't exist across the country. And so we hear that is another reason why it's so much trust. This was established going back to even Coleman Young. My community folks, my community members who support me that are standing here today. Jim Ward, Radio Patrol, has always been out there, not getting paid. They get reimbursements, but doing it. Eyes and ears when I was with the police department. Reverend Wendell Anthony, you know how I feel about you. I mean, always back in 2020 when it was a lot of civil unrest, I called you, Pastor Mo, a lot of us came right in this room and we talked to Detroiters, and Detroiters said not in our city as far as things being torn up or anything. Of course, you got the right to protest, freedom of speech, et cetera. But, Detroiters, you got to check in with us and not our city as far as anything being torn up or destroyed like that. I got Southwest Detroit representing, standing up here. Laura, wave. She's the president of the SDBA. I got Keith Williams. I got so many others. with collaboration, that's what it's all about. We don't do anything by ourselves. And with the CVI, the Community Violence Intervention groups, with the crime that's going down, when you say community working together, and if we all believe that public safety is our North Star, and we keep that in mind, we can come together, putting differences aside, learning to trust each other, and that's why the city of Detroit is experiencing these historic lows when it comes to crime reduction.
Absolutely.
I want to talk to the Detroit police officers. Man, when I walked in the building, I was like, I'm coming back home. I'm here. And it's the men and women of the Detroit Police Department who are the absolute finest, who work, who, you know, even when they weren't getting paid what they should be getting paid, they stayed. And they have been putting it on the line, and I have been there for 27 years with them. And when I retired, I still was there watching, supporting. But I just want to give up, I just want everybody to give it up for the men and women on the street working patrol. And as I close, you know, I know I probably forgot somebody, but, you know, charge it to my head, not my heart. But the federal, the state, the local partnerships and the collaboration, whether it's the U.S. Attorney with our One Detroit partnership, whether it's County Executive Warren Evans and the strategic collaboration that we have, whether it's Kim Worthy, whether it's the MDOC, whether it's Judge McConaughey, all of it, and with our CVI groups, just everything, Negus Vu, Ray Winans, Force Detroit, New Air Detroit, the People's Community Action. It's just so many to go around. I got Eric Ford. Got to recognize Eric Ford because that's the Detroit 300.
That's right. Yeah.
The Detroit 300 has been standing beside the Detroit Police Department under multiple chiefs, just year after year after year. And so when we finally got to a point where we could come up with a way to actually incentivize the work that they had been doing free for so long, with the American Rescue Plan Act dollars, you know, that came from the Biden and Harris administration that we're so grateful for, the mayor said, put together a program for community violence that worked, you know, and that's what I did. And so with that, as I close, I'll just close and open it up for any questions.
If reporters have questions, if you can come on over to the podium here with a microphone, please.
Jack Springer from CBS News Detroit. Would you be interested in shedding the interim tag if given the opportunity?
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely here to compete. You know, I'll just say this. I truly believe that I am the best individual for the role of permanent chief with having been here. You know, I'm plug and play. And as far as being deputy mayor, I really truly understand on another level how the police department is one department among many, but working within that, creating an overall public safety platform for the whole city, for multiple departments and the interrelations. And I even got chances to test my mettle by going to the state and advocating for more dollars. So I would be able to use the platform as chief of police to bring more resources from the state and the national federal government to the city of Detroit. So it's a resounding yes, I do want to lead the Detroit Police Department.
Hi there, Sarah Michaels with Channel 7. You have served this city for a long time. Simply, how do you feel today with this announcement being named the interim police chief?
Just appreciative, grateful, humbled. It's just amazing. And then with the trust of the community and the officers, you know, I've had so many police officers when Chief White announced, and Chief White is a beloved chief, but when he announced that he was moving on to pursue just an ultimate opportunity with D-Win, so many officers text, like, I hope you'll consider coming back. Community members text and said, please consider coming back. And I checked in with my wife and said, hey, I'm considering. And she was like, you got my full support. I want you to put that uniform back on, babe. I was like, whoa.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Mr. Ward.